Okay, this is now week 3 of the reading. This is going to be the lecture or whatever I talk about and discuss for the weekly reading. Okay, so first things first, responding to prompts. So when you are using AutoCAD and you're using different commands and different tools and stuff like that, in the command line, it will ask you questions. It'll have things for you to say and do that you need to respond to. So you can see right here in the command line is where my command line's at. It says specify first point. So there's multiple ways to respond to prompts. Sometimes it asks for numerical responses. So for example, if you're inputting a circle, it's going to ask for the radius and it's going to look for a number. In this case, it's going to look for a button click wherever I want of the left mouse key. You can do all positive numbers in AutoCAD are automatic. AutoCAD automatically assumes all numbers are positive unless you put a hyphen before it for the minus sign. And do not put any spaces when you're doing input because the space bar is equal to enter. So enter is enter would just be continuing the command or exiting out of it or doing whatever. I could explain as I go. So for this one, I'm inputting a line, and that is asking for the first point, and then it says specify next point, specify next point. And previously I had said that there would be buttons in the command line. So this is the buttons in the command line. So for example, undo, but I will talk about that more. Well, actually, I'll just talk about it now because that is responding to prompts. So for line, talk about a line. So in your ribbon under the draw panel, there is a line. So first things first, specify your first point, specify the next point, and next point. And then you can just click and draw whatever you want, whenever, however you need it to be. So with a line, yes, they are all connected together, but the line command considers these, AutoCAD considers everything drawn with the line command separate entities, separate objects. So you can see that that is one, and then this is one, and then that's one. They're all separate entities. They're not all combined into one, even though you drew them in a consecutive order. So that also goes along with the continue. That allows you to continue drawing the line. And then that's the line command. So I will go over those buttons in the command line now. So another way that you could do it, because there are hotkeys in AutoCAD that you can press on your keyboard to start various commands. So if you type in L, that starts the line command. So I'm drawing along, doing my thing, and let's say I click on that, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't want that line. You could press undo, or the letter highlighted in blue is the button or the key you could hit on your keyboard, and then you hit enter or spacebar, and that allows you to undo. And then you can either press or type in C. I prefer typing things. C, and then you press spacebar or enter because they work the same way. And close. Close will bring it back to the first point that you started when you started that command. That specific command that time. Not a previous time, just that time. So that is the line command. The next one we're going to talk about is the polyline. So the polyline and the line, they differ in that polyline, when you make a continuous line, AutoCAD will consider that one continuous entity. They are all connected together. So yeah, so the button for the polyline in your ribbon under the draw panel is right here. It is the line with an arc in it. So same thing, it asks you to specify a start point. And just like with the command or the line command, you can continue drawing. Just keep pressing however you like. And now you see that if I select one individual segment, it highlights all of them because AutoCAD, because I use the POLYLINE command, AutoCAD considers it all one continuous object. So the hotkey for POLYLINE would be PL on your keyboard, and then you hit enter. So I will now talk about the buttons in the command line. So the first one here is arc. So what that allows you to do is draw an arc starting from the last point that you clicked to wherever you next click. And there you go. That is the arc portion of that. And then the next one is half width. I don't like that word. So half width, what that is that you specify the distance, and that would be the distance. So you would specify the width of your line that you want, but that would specify it in one direction. So let's say I will type in H for half width and then enter, and I will do 0.25, and it was asking for the starting, and now the ending half width is 0.25, so I'm just going to hit enter, and there you go. So if you were to draw a line approximately, let's do half width, and I'm going to set it to 0, enter 0. Oh, okay, I made a mistake there. So half width, whatever you put in is the length that it goes in each direction of the center point of the line that you were drawing. So in this case, I specified 0.25, so the center would be where this dot is. So it went 0.25 this way and 0.25 this way. So that's what half width does. I have never used half width, but I can see that in some scenarios it could be useful, and obviously people do use it, or AutoCAD would not have done that. And then the next one is length, and then specify the length of the line, and then this just asks you could do click, you could drag it out and click wherever, or you could specify it so if you want it to be 3, so it'll specify the line length of 3. So that is the length portion of the POLYLINE. So again, I'm typing in PL to start the POLYLINE command, selecting my first point. And then the next one is width. So now this is going to be just the total width of it. So if I put in 0.25, then that's, I did that incorrect. There we go. So as you can see, I did 0.25, and now the line is 0.25. Or I might have done that wrong. Let's see. And then width. Yeah, I messed it up. So I'll do 0.25, 0.25. There we go. That's more like it. So now I have a line with a width of 0.25. So that is the POLYLINE command. The next one we're going to talk about is the circle. So this right here is the circle command. That is the button for it. Or you could type in C enter on your keyboard. And it asks you to specify the center point for the circle. And then, so after you specify the center point, then you can drag it out to wherever you would like it to be. And that creates a circle. Or, so in this case, I'm going to do the other way, where I'm going to type in C for circle. And let's say that I want it to be a radius. So currently it's saying specify the radius of the circle. So I'm going to say I want a radius of 0.25. I type in 0.25, enter, and it creates a circle with a radius of 0.25. So that is the basics of the circle. Under the circle button up here, though, there are many more options of things that you can do. So I'm going to quickly go down the list and explain what these do. This is center diameter, fairly self-explanatory. The yellow dash line there, that's going to be double the distance of the radius. So in this case, the diameter. So same thing here, you can drag it out to where you want it to be, or you could type it in. So I will type in 2.5 again, and now I have a circle with a diameter of 2.5. So that is the circle diameter option. And then the next one is 2-point. So 2-point is, if you were to select at 2 spots, it creates a circle with that specified diameter. So if you were to, for example, in the civil field, for example, let's change this. And going back to polyline, anytime you type in a width of the polyline, and then you end the command, it will always go back and it will keep that until you type in width again, and you specify it to be 0. So in this case, I am going to draw 2 lines here, and let's say that these 2 lines here are a pipe. This is, let's say, a water pipe. And you want to show that it's at an elbow and the pipe is now coming towards you. So you got to show a circle for that. So you could use the 2-point circle right there, and you can click and click. And now that represents if the water would be going this way and then turning right, making a 90-degree turn and coming towards you. So that is the 2-point circle. The next one is going to be the 3-point. Pretty similar to the 2-point, but now it has 3 points. So the first 2 points that you select are kept in the same spot, but the third one depends on your last click, and that changes the size of your circle depending on where you click at. So that is the 3-point circle. The next one is tan radius. So that stands for tangent radius. So I drew 2 lines here. I'm going to do tan radius. And when you do that, it wants you to specify point on object for the first tangent of the circle. And when you hover over the object, you will see what a small little green symbol that is a circle with a line that is tangent to it with 3 dots at the bottom right of the circle. That is the tangent symbol, snap symbol. Object snaps will be discussed later in the future. So I will select my first point, and then I will select my second point, and I will say a radius of 2.5. And now I have a circle that is tangent to both of my lines, this line and this line, with a radius of 2.5. So that is the tan radius. Going along to tan. I feel like that should almost be a song. Okay, whoa, press the wrong button. So I have 2 lines there, and I have a third line there. So again, I'm going to press the little down arrow for the tan. And again, I'll look for that tangent snap symbol. Click there, and it asks for a second point, and then it asks for a third point. And now it creates a circle with the radius that would make the circle tangent to these 3 lines. That is the tan option. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the arc command. The arc command has many different options. I personally almost never use the arc command because you can create an arc in polylines. So I personally don't feel the need to use that. But I will just show you a quick sample. So this is the 3-point arc. So if you know 3 specific points where you want your arc to be, So the first point, the middle point, the midpoint of this, and the end point of the line of where you want the arc. Then you can use the 3-point. And it's going to be the same way for the start, the start, center, end. So specify the start point, specify the center point, and then the end point. So in this case, you can create an arc with a specified angle. So an arc segment with a specified angle to it. So that is start, center, end, start, center, angle, which this then asks you for the angle that you want it to be. And that is the opposite side of your cursor. So you can see just to the bottom right of my crosshair there, you can see the dashed yellow line. And then along, if you spin your cursor or your crosshairs, you will see that the complete opposite side of the arc is where it's dragging it. So that is how you do that one. And I am not going to go through all of these because I personally have never used any more than these first 3. But if you did ever want me to show you, then let me know and I can show you. Okay, moving along. Next is rectangle. So the rectangle button or command button in the panel under the draw, in the ribbon under the draw panel is this one right here. That looks like a rectangle. What do you know? Okay, then it asks you to specify the first corner point. And then with the rectangle, you can drag out in any direction that you would like to create your rectangle. So that is one way to draw it. If you want a specific area for it, you can either type in A or click on the area button in your command line. If you want to type in A, you press A, enter, or a spacebar. And let's say we want an area of 2. And then it will ask you for if you want to specify the length or the width. And the length is always this way on the x-axis, and the width is always on the y-axis. And I will specify that to be 1. Oh, I was mistaken. I had that backwards. The length is the y-axis. The width is the x-axis. So that's how you can do the area. And then the next one is dimensions. So if you know the specific dimensions that you want, then you can specify that. So let's say it's 2.5 by 1.37. And then, so it creates the rectangle with those dimensions, and you can move it in any of the 4 quadrants around your start point. Any direction that you would like. So that is that one. And then there is rotation. And rotation allows you to select the rotation of your rectangle. So if you want it 30 degrees. And then from there, then you can select dimension. And I'll do the same dimensions for this. And now it does the same thing where you can put the rectangle wherever you want along in the 4 quadrants, but it's rotated by 30 degrees. So that is the rectangle command with the rotation and dimension option. So now with the rectangle command, before you type in any or click your first point, there are a couple options down here. So first things first, the first one is chamfer. So a chamfer is a flat spot. Chamfers are very common. You see that around basically everywhere. Typically, square edges are not very safe. They're kind of dangerous for little kids, and bumping into them hurt and stuff like that. So a chamfer is a flat surface, a flattened corner. So like along your desk, sometimes you will see that where it is flat on the top of the surface, and then it's flat on the corner, and then it goes down. So I'll demonstrate that here right now. So I will click on chamfer, and I will do 0.15 for my chamfer distance, and 0.15, and you can have them in different directions. Distance 1 and distance 2, I believe distance 1 is the horizontal and distance 2 is the vertical. Not 100% sure, but we can test that here momentarily. And as you can see, I'm going to restart this. Click right there, rotation of 0. So there we go. We got a rectangle drawn with chamfers, a chamfer of 0.15 on all 4 corners. So that is the chamfer portion of that. So we will test, see which one distance 1 and distance 2 is. So I'll keep distance 1 as 0.15. The other one I'll do 0.12. Ah, that did not work. Oh, man. Doing all sorts of things. Okay, well, anyways, that will be discussed in the future when we go over chamfers. The next option is fillet. Fillet is far more common for things because that is a rounded edge instead of a square or a flat edge. I will select a fillet of 0.25. And as you can see, all the corners are now rounded all the way around. And that is fillet, not fillet. It is not fillet, it's fillet. Okay. Then thickness. Thickness is going in the Z direction that we are not going to talk about. Elevation is the same thing. Going in the Z direction, we're not going to talk about that. Width, that would be the same as the polyline. So I will select 0.1 for that. And as you can see, because I never changed the fillet back to 0, it has a fillet and a width to the line, or to the rectangle. So that is the rectangle command. The next thing that we're going to talk about is polygons. So polygons, right next to the rectangle button, if you press the down arrow, that will bring up 2 options. One you've already seen, rectangle. Next one is polygon. So it asks you to select number of sides. This is a little odd because it allows you to draw a square, which technically, yes, is a polygon, but it is, if there's already a rectangle, then why do you need it? But whatever. Autodesk made it. I don't ask questions. I just follow the rules. The minimum number of sides that you can have on a polygon is 3 to make a triangle. Ooh, if I press the right buttons. I'll hit 3, enter, and I will select my center point. So now it is going to ask for inscribed in circle, circumscribed about circle. So, what inscribed means is that if you were to draw a circle, let's see. Let's see how I can do this. So this is a little bit different, but this is just for this stuff we'll go over in the future. But if I were to draw a circle, inscribed is this. This is where there is an imaginary circle drawn around it, and you are at the edge of the circle, and the size that you could specify, that would be the size of the circle that you would draw. And then the circumscribed polygon, so again 3, that is the opposite. So that would be if there were a circle inside of it that is tangent to all of these points. So then that distance is from the center of this triangle to one of these edges. So those are the two options there. You can specify as many sides as you want to a polygon. Polygon will allow you to put in a width, and you can, let's see. Oh, you cannot do a width on it. But anyways, that is polygon. The next thing is erase. Erase is fairly easy. There's one way I prefer, and there's another way that I don't generally do, but it is available if you want to do it. So one way that there's two other ways that you could do it. One way that you could do it is by using the erase button in the modify panel in your ribbon. You select that, it asks you to select an object. And once you select the object, it will gray it out to tell you that is the object you will be deleting. You hit enter or spacebar, and it will delete the object. The way I prefer to do it is selecting your object and pressing the delete button on your keyboard, not backspace, delete. And then the other way that you could do it is by typing E, which is the same as pressing the button, but it just starts the command without having to press the button. So E, enter, and then you select your object, again, grays it out, and then you press enter to delete it. That is erase. Object selection. So object selection. So if you have that, and you have this, and you have that. So object selection, you just click on it, and you will see that it highlights in blue. That means that you have selected that object. When you select an object, you can press the shift key and press on that object again to unselect it. And that would be what we are going to talk about for cycling. So let's say that I wanted to delete those two lines because those two lines were a mistake. And I accidentally highlighted my circle that I want to keep. Oh no, I don't want to have to press escape and reselect my two lines again. Let me just press shift and then reselect my circle. And there we go. It deselects it, and I can erase it without deleting everything. So there we go. That is cycling. Next thing we're going to talk about is save, save as, and QSAVE. So first things first. I personally do all of these through the command line, but there is save, save as, and then this right here is QSAVE. Oh, it does not do that. Anyways, okay. So the difference between the three: save saves a copy of your drawing, and you stay in the current drawing you saved. Save as saves a copy, and you work in the copy, and then QSAVE just saves your progress on the drawing. So my preference for saving is just doing Control S, and that works the same way. And I'll just call it that. So I will draw a line, and there we go. And you can see that there's the little asterisk. So it has not been saved. So if I were to close out, then it would not save my work. So I can either type in QS for QSAVE. Then you can press this, and that saves it too. Or Control S. Control S is my personal preference, but to each their own. And then, like I said, save saves a copy of the drawing that you're working in, but you stay working in the original. Save as, you save a copy and you work in the copy. And then QSAVE saves your progress. And then open allows is that button there, or you could type in open, and it will just bring the Explorer, the select file dialog box, and you can select any of them that you would like. And that is the week 3 reading. Yeah, enjoy.